Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway knife for May 2024. Let's see, we're going to take a look at some pocket fixed carry blades. That's kind of apropos of that giveaway knife. And also, I could have bought a knife, but instead I bought this. I want you to chime in on the kind of things that you get instead of a knife. And what I'm talking about is not like new brakes for the car. I'm not talking about essentials. I'm talking about when you have disposable cash and you're going to buy something and you almost buy a knife, but you don't. Time for a haircut. What is that thing that you buy? I got something, and I'm really excited. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's probably not what you're thinking, and I'm very, very excited about it. And I look forward to getting more of this thing. I've bought some of this kind of thing earlier in my life and put off the purchase of this kind of thing for a long time with young children, but now I'm back, baby. And I found someone that I like. Anyway, have a nice day. Good to have you here. Junkalos, I purchased an aftermarket sheath for a knife. That's what I did instead of buying another knife. Later, I bought another knife. I love that. Yes, that's the spirit, sir. Fernando Salome, nice to have you with us. Hello, Knife Junkies, he says. Jim and Bob, good to have you here, Fernando. I'll tell you guys, it's hot as Hades down here. Got the AC on the fritz, and so I got the windows open. I got the doors open, trying to get some airflow. If you see me perspire, that's what it is. Fernando says, I could have bought a knife, but I bought a Fat Boy Harley Davidson. Oh my, that's awesome. I have an affinity for that motorcycle. I think it's beautiful. Ever since Terminator 2, I think is when I first became aware of it as a model. I didn't grow up with motorcycles, so I was like, damn, what is that with those giant front forks? It looks so cool. I love that. Well, nicely done. That is definitely, and you could have gotten one hell of a knife for that. Ground Fog, good to have you here, Ground Fog. He's waving at us. Pat D's Nuts, nice to have you here, Pat. I lost my job 2 days later, blow the engine in my car that I waited 13 years to get. When it rains, it pours, my man. I'm sorry to hear that. Only had 5 months. Not going to stop me from getting the Nova 2. Dude, I lost my job 2 days later, blew the engine in my car that I waited 13 years to get. Pat, I'm curious what that car is, and that's a bum string of luck, but that only means that it's going to turn around. So look at it that way. But that sucks. Doug Bowl, nice to have you here, Doug. Blessings all, he says. My mama always said, you never know what you're going to get in a box of Chinese blades. Nice. Doug, your mom said that too? Must have been a generational thing. This old sword, good to have you here, Dave. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. I could have bought a NAF, but I retired 2 weeks ago for real. Congratulations, Dave. Oh, man, Dave, that's awesome. Congratulations. That does mean maybe the NAF buying habits shift a little bit, and maybe because this is kind of what I've been going through a little bit, not due to retirement, but just due to having to take care of like the Nova 2 and certain other projects. I can't buy a lot of knives right now, but appreciating. I've acquired a bunch. I know, Dave, you've acquired a bunch, and they're awesome. Great time to reacquaint yourself with some of the knives. It's almost like having a new one. Oh, this knife I reviewed it, I carried it for a few days, and look, it's awesome. I love it, and I still have it. So it's almost like having a new knife if you have a whole bunch of them. So look at it that way. But all that aside, congratulations. I know I know you're accomplished in your field, and I'm not going to reveal what that is here, but that's awesome. Congratulations. Doug Bull says, I could have bought a knife, but it's been so long, I forgot how. Doug, you're making me sad. You're making me cry. You know what you got to do? Do something real cheap. Go to Walmart. Get a Pioneer Woman knife and some jute cord and wrap the handle. Make it feel natural. Make it feel, like something, I don't know. Do something like that. Those kind of blade projects on super cheap knives are kind of fun. Jim, go, if you don't mind, go to the knife cam for a sec. I want to grab something to show off, but I have to jump off screen real quick. So I I just want to, just to illustrate the point I was just making right here. So these, I got 3 super cheap kitchen knives, like really cheap, kitchen knives. They've got short tangs and everything in a little pack. And one of them had a fruit knife, the hooked blade, and that one is at work. But I wrapped them all in jute cord and did my little thing with the fire and the shellac. And it's kind of a fun little project. And these were dirt cheap, and I don't carry them because I don't need to, but I have the other one at work stashed in my little computer stand in case I need it. And it's a fun little project. So I know what it's like, Doug, to be in a place where you can't buy a knife. I've been there before plenty of times, but you can probably afford a $5 knife like that and have a fun little project. And then you give it to someone. I gave one to my brother. Well, that's one of the Victorinox ones, but it, just that's what I do. Blade Ogre says, hello, all. Well, Chris, hello to you, sir. I was just going off about buying cheap kitchen knives to get a fix, really. I memean, but hey, you choose your advice when you choose your advisors, and you've come to a place called TheKnifeJunkie. So, if you need a fix, get a cheap kitchen knife. 5-door, nice to have you here, sir. Greetings, all, he says. Well, greetings to you. We're going to be showing off 5-door is a gentleman junkie. We'll be showing off the gentleman junkie knife shortly. Well, you've seen it, but it's a pretty nice giveaway. We missed you too. This old sword says, missed everyone last Thursday. Your absence was noted. Was having a fun time in Charleston. How awesome. Another reason I didn't buy a knife. Charleston is so beautiful and a little bit haunted, right? A little bit haunted. I used to growing up in Ohio and then going to school in upstate New York and getting educated in New York and Philadelphia and stuff. I always had a little prejudice about the South. Until I met Southerners, until I moved to the South, and realized that this Yank can get down with the Southerners. Actually, I love the South. I love the heat and the humidity and the gothic nature of it. I think the South is cool. Will B says, I did buy a knife, too many of them. I even placed a custom order with Olamic, for a soloist with an agent blade. Man alive. Olamic, some of their larger, I think that's what this is. They're 4-inch blades. They're so cool. And they're custom production. I mean, they have the same models that they produce, but each one is a little snowflake. So very nicely done. So instead of buying a knife, you bought a knife. Nicely done. Over the Pull, good to have you here. Over the Pull, hello. Love your channel. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I love doing it, and Jim and I love bringing it to you. Mattisfaction, speak of the devil. Mattisfaction will be well. You will see Mattisfaction on the show shortly. Not on this show, but on the Sunday show. It's no secret. Mattisfaction, good to have you here, sir. And it was awesome talking with you the other night and getting it all on tape, so to speak. I still say on tape. Joseph S., good to have you here, Joseph. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, good evening to you, sir, and peace right back at you. Unless that was the flipping off British style. James Moore, nice to have you here, James Moore. Happy Thursday, he says. I couldn't have bought a knife, I could have bought a knife, but instead I got some fancy Italian leather sneakers. Very nice. I like that. That's cool. Nice. Mattisfaction, what you got to tell us what brand they are. And it probably won't make any difference to me, but I like Italian words and names, so I'd love to hear it. Mattisfaction. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Top of the evening, chaps. Well, top of the evening to you. Some instant coffee. Unfortunately, my second coffee mill is BS, so I had to spend a lot of money to get a grinding coffee mill, not a spinning blade. I kept getting hung up and I freaked out. It's not that I need coffee not to get a headache. I don't even really need it to wake up. I just need it to be a decent person. And the other night after dinner, I'm trying to make my coffee and there's just, I live in a house with 3 women and they're at various hormonal stages of womanhood, and it was all a din around me. And I was just like, I just need to make some coffee before my interview, and the damn mill. So I got a new mill coming. Could have gotten a knife, but I've got a new coffee mill coming. But that's not the subject of this tonight. Broke Arizona Knives. Good to have you here, sir. Yo, what it is, people? Yo, what it is, people? I got you. What it is with you, sir? Yo, I not grew up. I lived in Philadelphia, which I believe is definitely the land of yo. I have to believe that that's where yo was born, because I never in the world have I heard the word yo so much. So there you go. Split and slices. Good to have you here, Byron. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. And congrats on your retirement, this old sword. Dave, I'm assuming not from YouTube channel. No, certainly not. We won't be doing that. Mattisfaction says, I could have bought a knife, but I bought a whole strawberry rhubarb pie. Oh, that sounds good. But I do need a new knife to cut said pie. Be right back. Yes, sir. Here, this might be adequate for the job. Strawberry rhubarb pie is so good, and I've only had it a few times in my life, and I had no idea what rhubarb was. I just knew I was sort of objected to it somehow, and then I learned that it's like celery, and I still sort of objected to it. But in the strawberry rhubarb pie context, whoa, it's delicious. I love pie. I come from a long line of pie lovers. My dad would have birthday pies, not birthday cakes. Sword XXXY, good to have you here, sir. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, to you, sir, a good day. Mark, $5. Mark, thank you so much, man. I emailed you asking for a Work Tough gear recommendation. All right. My apologies. I haven't checked my email, honest to goodness, since about Saturday. And today I was going to do that, but I ended up actually taking care of a bunch of work that I really had to get done that I don't like doing. And that took all of my work day up. See, sometimes I can sneak away. So, Mark, I will look at it. I'm sorry. I hope you're not giving me $5 to get my attention. My Work Tough gear recommendation is whatever you can get your mitts on. I only have one. And funny you should bring it up, and I will salute you with this Work Tough gear knife. I have this, and I think maybe you might be able to find this here and there, but don't take my word for it. This is the Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie, a really, really great knife. And I got to say, you got to eat your Wheaties with this knife. I do certain exercises to just for my grip and for my forearms, especially since I rolled my wrist on my Bob dummy. But I always do this one thing with the the mace, the weighted mace, and that I believe that has made it easier for me to grip and sling and this knife. And they have okay, Mark, go to Knife Center. I saw just a thumbnail of new knives at Knife Center, and the guy who backs up David was holding up it's a Puzon. It's a jungle Bowie, I believe, or a wilderness Bowie by Puzon, but it doesn't have this. It comes all the way down and then has a little. So the blade, the edge comes down further to about here, and the guard is the blade itself, not an extra guard. Check it out. I actually haven't had the chance to go look over there, but I saw that today. So for me, I really want to get the V44. I don't know if it's something they're going to be producing. I've just like in mass or whatever. I've only seen Scab showing that off. The V44 Bowie looks a lot like the Marine Raider Bowie. That's what it's based on. I'm sorry. That's what I would get if I had my druthers and could get anything right now. But the Lanzetta is cool. That's a big recurve clip point. And I think if you're going to be using this for naturally probably outdoorsy stuff, that recurve will be awesome. And if you happen to be actually getting it for like fighting stuff or whatever, that recurve will be awesome. So either way, anything with my experience with Work Tough gear, which is having one, borrowing two from Scab, and then examining them at their table at Blade Show, I would say that any design that you like, where was that? Yeah, I guess that was at the Carnivora or something. Any design that you like is going to be awesome. Well made. They're all hand, fit and all of that. So Sorry, that's the long version. Sorry, I didn't get back to your email, but I will be at some point tomorrow. Be going through emails and stuff. So I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you for that super chat. And this is to you, sir. Mhm. Look at that. Look at that. It's like a ship passing slowly. A very, very sharp and effective ship. By the way, I love that handle. That handle is just so awesome. You can come way back here. So I might look for this if you're interested in it as a chopper. I would look for a longer, something that's long back here for the palm and then has a hook. This is just so nice. All right. Craig Vincent, nice to have you here, Craig. I could have bought a $5 knife, but instead I bought 5 knives. Well, I think that is a sound plan, especially because I know at least a whole bunch of them were cold steel for sure. Have a Knife Day says, I was at the VFW post last night and met a young Army veteran that just came back from Jordan. Told me about his experiences, and I decided that I will be knitting him out. Oh, with a Condor signed sax. Oh, I don't know which one that is. I have the Condor sax, the Norseman sax. But I'm curious. Oh, I think I know which one that is. I might not be able to go with him, but I can help outfit him. Man, that's so cool. That is really cool. A and B. I know you're going to be there with him in spirit, and I know you have a history of badassery. So that spirit will I'm sure go a long way. Knives to my, good to have you here. Knives to my, hello everyone. He says the last thing I got that wasn't a knife was the El Gancho from Rualis Tool. Oh, what is that? I'm like, oh yeah, but I know I've seen the name Rualis Tools, but what is the El Gaucho? El Gancho, I think that's it. Split and Slices says, for your information, go check out our Have a Knife Days coverage. Oh yes, of all the Bowie builders at the Bowie Festival in Washington, Arizona, and YTC Knife Makers Viking Challenge. I love the 310 video. I love that guy's stuff. I have one knife from him, and he just recently sent me an email. I think you might like this work, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. His stuff is gorgeous. Cut that. That'll cut a pie. Yeah, no doubt. That'll cut a pie and vanquish your foes just through sheer fear. Adrian Fighter 35. I think last week I had a trouble with your name. Adrian Fighter 35. Good to have you here. Wow, that's cool. It is. It is ridiculous. And I had really wanted after my loan out of 2 really great Work Tough Gear knives. I really wanted one, and this outrageous one based on one of my favorite knives in moviedom of all time, the knife that all of the guys in the team in Predator had. Though you don't really see it unless you're looking for it, they all had the big knife, the one that Billy carves his chest with, with the sub hilt and the giant blade and the sharpened swedge. They all had that. In the beginning, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger pull it out of his boot. He's like wearing it on his leg, and he uses it in Pakal grip, actually, with the large edge towards him, and he swipes through the drive belt that busted old truck is using to run the generator, to run the camp that they are invading. And if you look, they all have it. Yes, we all know that. We're all knife guys here, Bob. Okay. Byron says, God, I love that Bowie. Did I say that too loud? No, you didn't, sir. No, you didn't. Dion Page. Hello, King Junkie. Dion, great to have you here. Jim and all you junkies. Spike Tonto, 8015 at the ready today. Oh, where I just put it back. I had an old school Spike with me, the Hawkbill, the old school Hawkbills. Very nice. Shoemaker, Stefano Bemer. FYI, not sure where you're living now, but Virginia is south of the Mason-Dixon line. I know. It is. And I like, my wife grew up around here, and I like to tell her she's my little Southern queen, my little Southern belle. and you got to know, Northern Virginia is not like the rest of Virginia. It's trying to be New England in a way. Kraken Tactical EDC, really good to have you here. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Just an update. If you haven't seen Kraken in a while, he's still making really, really awesome knives. And I don't mean in a while, like out there, here. And man, his stuff is awesome. He did a Gnunting recently, I think. Very cool. I've always admired your work, sir. Pocket EDC, good to have you here, Pocket. Old Evening Knife, folks. Yeah, that's it, man. That is it. Fernando Selame, it's sold out already at Knife Center. Oh, bummer. It's so nice, though. Josh, 33025. Hi, he says. Well, hello to you, sir, on your serene lake. It looks nice there. DLT says, Chris sells Work Tough gear regularly, but most go fast. That's true. That is true. Thank you, Chris. That's actually one of my, when I'm looking for Work Tough gear, because sometimes I get bitten by that bug, I go there and they never have what I want. So I'm always happy about that, because that's another $250 I'm saving. Will B says, I have the Work Tough gear Wilderness Warrior 2, and it's great. I'm not sure I know which one that is, but I bet it's awesome. I had, on loan that Sax, that big triangular. Speaking of Sax, oh my God, that thing was awesome. Doug Bowles says, Bob, I think the only thing worse than rolling the wrist is turning the ankle while kicking a heavy bag. Well, I'll tell you what, Doug, I've been training for years, doing my hooks like this. This is how I was taught. And rolling my wrist this last time, which I've done before, really got me turning it over. So now my hooks are all turning over and doing the Bruce Lee turn. I was never comfortable with that before. I've had to get comfortable with it. Now I'm hitting with the first two knuckles. And by the way, you can do like that kind of overhand Superman punch if you're covering up and hit with those two knuckles, or even go around the side and hit the temples or up into the ribs using those two knuckles. So it's a whole new world opening up to me since I rolled my wrist, and I'm not hooking like this anymore. Loyal Group says, evening, gents. Loyal Group, awesome to have you here. Late night as usual. Well, I'm glad. Does that mean that you're done? And it's a late night and you're getting off, and now the night is just beginning? I hope so. If not, hopefully this broadcast will carry you through. Northern Knives, good to have you here, sir. Hey, Jim, Bob, and Junkies. I could have bought a knife, but I bought a tactile turn pen instead. I need something like that, or a Karis Bolt V2. Wait, who's always got the Karis Bolt V2? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I'll know in a second. Kraken Tactical Bob, will you be at Blade Show Atlanta? I most certainly will. I bought both my plane ticket and my hotel room on this very same day. Actually, got a pretty good deal on one and not such a great deal on the other. But that's what you get for waiting, which is what I do. I'm a procrastinator. Loyal Group says, for me, but it's a good thing I did it, because it's on a different weekend than I thought it would be all year long. So see, procrastinators do sometimes win out. Loyal Group says, for me, the Alex B Work Tough Gear Kodiak is the end all be all of outdoor knife. Is that the one that Scab has been doing the 30 cut challenge with? Just, oh my God, it looks like it must be like 2.5, 3 inches wide. It is like, it's got to be 13-inch blade. It looks like something you have a cow with, a cow with in a butcher shop. You could like really cut something in half with that sucker, is what I'm getting at. Pat D's Nut says, hey Bob, I detonated a 2015 300 horsepower Subaru WRX. Oh man, it was amazing. It was an amazing last ride. Lucille will run again soon. Okay, so I had a friend who had the WRX. Oh no, I know what you're talking about. No, that is cool. I have another friend who had a poster of that up in his cube at work for years. That is a cool car. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But Lucille, sounds like Lucille was singing, much like BB King's guitar. That's pretty awesome. Except for now, you got to replace the engine. That really sucks. Knives to My says the El Gancho is a Kaganawa, a hook tied. Oh, cool, on 550 cord. That's cool. You can do some cool stuff with that. Like if you study flexible weapons, either Chinese style or Filipino or Malaysian or whatever. I love scenes like that in movies where guys pull off their belts and just mess people up with them, tie them up. I think Jack Reacher had in the first season had a fight like that. Boy, that actor, man, he turned out to be kind of, I don't know. They always have to be flakes. Why can't you just like shut up? We don't care about your opinions. Now it makes it hard to take him seriously when I watch him, or if I were to watch him. Gus Beck says, good evening, junkies. Well, Gus, good to have you here. I scored a sweet deal on a Chavez 229 Liberation. It's the drop point with black G10 one side and custom blue Ano on the frame lock side. That sounds awesome. Feels great to have a Chavez again. I need one first. I need one that's the bigger bladed model. Adrian says, yes, the Jack Crane one. I was watching Predator last night. Oh, yeah, that thing is so cool. And also the regular survival, who I think Jack Crane made that too, but the regular survival knife with the sawback, they all had that also. So it was the team knives. They had team knives. They all had both of those, wearing them differently and such. But man, how cool would it be to have an original or something custom made that's just like it? Maybe we should have a Predator movie viewing party. Oh man, that's such. Well, first of all, great idea, and it's such a great movie. Such a great movie. You know, people see things that remind them of predators in the woods. Little things moving around that they kind of half see. You can hear stories about it online. Yes, I bet you can. Edgy American Shane, how you doing, sir? First batch. Oh, Edgy American hand ground fixed blades are headed off to heat treat. Yes, how cool. All right. For that, I'm going to get something that's totally hand ground here. Oh, Shane, this is for you. Man alive. That is really exciting news. What are you calling it? And when are we going to see these? You just said they're going off to heat treat, Bob. Cool your jets. I know. I've done that a few times where I've ground a few knives and sent them out. And since I didn't have a huge batch, they kind of had to fit them in when they had 1095 or something like that. So it took a little while. But it's very exciting news, and this is for you. This is a hand ground. Of course, it's also hand forged, but this is like the most hand done anything I have here. I mean, these are all I have a lot of hand done stuff here, but this is the only forged. So I figured I'd pull this out. This is for you, Shane. That's very exciting news, sir. This based on the Loveless cross sub-hilt fighter. My apologies. This is for you, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that super chat. Man, this thing would be devastating in a duel. So that's if I get called out, that's what I grab, as well as other weapons, depending. Congrats, Edgy. Good luck on the first main batch. Edgy American. I plan to consume at least 2 hours of Bob's Blade Show time on schedule accordingly. Oh, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you, man. Yeah, one of the highlights of Blade Show for sure is hanging out with you. Gus Beck says, today I rocked my Spyderco Shaman Hinderer XM18 3.5 Spear Point Red G10. Oh, okay. Let me start that guy. Here, XM18 3.5 Spear Point. I've always wanted a Spear Point. It's elegant. It's the first one I ever saw. Very nice. Red G10 and small Semenza 31 in Singo. Can't get enough Hinderer lately. I love that. I love hearing that when people lock in, because I lock in too. Seeing as that was a pocket check, why don't we all get to a pocket check? In my right pocket today, I had the extremely manly LUDT by Microtech. It's a switchblade that was created for underwater divers and other really, really tough people, people who don't need black on their knives to feel secure, for people who don't need gray and high speed, low drag looks to feel like a man. And that's what this knife does for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say all that out loud? I love this thing. The LUDT Gen 2. It's just like me, late to the party. So late to the party in this case that this friggin' knife is out of print. And now they have the Gen 3, which not so much. I mean, I bet I could be convinced. I bet if I had it in hand, I'd fall in love. And that's a great thing for a blade show. I will check them out for sure. And who knows, maybe in person, I'll be like, oh, I see why they redesigned that perfect EDC switchblade knife, which this is. I love this knife. I've been carrying it a lot. Excuse me. This is one of those grab and go knives, like takes no thought to grab this and throw it in the pocket because it's, I mean, I love it. It's good to go for anything you're going to need. And it's got those great serrations. I actually do like the purple color, which here looks somewhat blue. And the action is amazing. The build is amazing. It's robust. It's tough. It's a Microtech. It's just awesome. I love this knife. So I was carrying it. All right. You got a problem with that? And then next up, I had the Canoe by Case. True grandpa's knife here. Though my grandpa did not have a Canoe, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure I ended up with all of his pocket knives, or most of them. But I love this design. That it's called the Canoe, of course, because the handle is shaped like a canoe. And here, as evidence of that, you can see a canoe with an engine. I'm sorry, I don't mean that to be insensitive, but an Indian in there mowing the lawn. Jeez. You can tell I'm not getting insensitive. I'm just getting senile. It's an American Indian rowing a canoe on the blade, evoking the shape or echoing the shape of the blade. All right, that's enough said about the canoe. I do love it. This one looks old, but it's new. I mean, I didn't get it that long ago. It's carbon steel. It hasn't patinaed yet, but I think I threw it in a pocket with a bunch of other crap, and the bolsters got all scratched up, and I didn't intend that to happen. Sometimes I do intend that to happen with something aluminum, maybe, but not in this case. I'll keep this open. All right, and next up, this. So this is on loan to me. Oh man, I'm sure I'll end up buying it because I'm falling in love with it right here. This is the Little Ruffian by Hogtooth Knives. It's so nice, man. So this is a radical scale down of the Ruffian that you've seen me carrying a lot. This is intended for in-pocket carry, and this is the first one ever made, so kind of in a sense a prototype. I've had it for a few weeks. I've shown it off here, and I was talking to Matt about other stuff, about the Nova 2, and we started talking about this. I told him, you have an absolute winner. And then I told him, I haven't carried it yet. And he's like, what are you doing? I wanted you to carry it. And I was like, I don't want to mess it up. And so he said, carry it. And so I've carried it for the past few days, and I've used it a lot. I have no changes I would make to the knife whatsoever for me personally. I do have some notes on the sheath, which, by the way, he makes excellent Kydex sheaths. I think the retention needs to be less on this, even less material, because it's so small. It doesn't need as much what do you call it, retention as it has. So little prototype type tweaks on the sheath, maybe, or that's what I'm going to suggest anyway. And then also, I would love, since this is kind of really a perfect shape for drop in the, or a perfect size for drop in the pocket fixed blade, I would love him to offer a leather sheath, a tall leather sheath that comes almost up to the top of your pants pocket, with a DCC clip or some sort of clip anchoring it to your pocket. I would like that better than the Kydex for in pocket. The Kydex I like much better for in the waistband. So that's just my personal thing. I'd love to see a leather option for that. So hopefully that happens. All right, and then oh well, that's actually the emotional support knife I got wrong on my plan I sent to Jim. So I'll show you what it actually was. Today it was the Civivi Sentinel Strike, and I had to box up some knives today, and this was great for all of the little EDC, for all the great cutting and trimming and that kind of stuff going into packing up a box. One of them is going overseas, so I had to take special care in that. This thing is so precise with that tip, and so thank you, Jim, and so fine and thin. I mean, the grind is just insane. It's a very, very nice knife. And then excellent on the fidget, excellent on the opening and closing. I love the blade opening, or the opening hole on the handle. Or oh my gosh, you know what I mean? You can kind of engage it anywhere along that hole there and get it to deploy. Just a great knife. I love this. Actually ended up using it more than any other knife today, just because of that packing stuff I was doing. So this is what I had on me. What'd you have on you? I had the LUDT by Microtech. I had the Little Ruffian by Hogtooth Knives. I had the Case Canoe and the Civivi Sentinel Strike. Let me know what you guys had. I'll tell you what the UCLA protesters didn't have and what they were asking for. This is hilarious. I gotta say, this is so funny. So hold up at UCLA, being revolutionaries, cosplaying revolutionaries. They send out a Google Doc to those out there, to the powers that be, for a list of demands, and their list of demands included urgent headlamps, airsoft goggles, gas masks, respirators, skater helmets, shields, wood for barriers, knee and elbow pads, rain pouches, canopies, utility gloves, super bright flashlights with strobe, charged, umbrellas, EpiPens, non-sterile inhalers, headlamps, organizational bins, hot food for lunch, 3 exclamation points, important, all caps, vegan food, gluten-free food, ice, no packaged food, no coffee, no bagels, no bananas, no nuts, all in bold. So these are the least prepared revolutionaries I've ever heard of. They're like, okay, we're here and we broke into the library. Now send us everything we need to occupy the library. And imagine what it'll be like when they don't get it. I mean, I'm not getting political here, but that is hilarious. It's like Naked and Afraid. We're gonna drop these revolutionaries in this library with nothing, and see what they can do with it. And well, they're not doing shit. Speaking of from the land of UCLA, good to have you here, sir. We have Alex. Hey, everyone, he says. Well, hello to you, dude. I saw that you had your Iron Dragon out, and I got my Iron Dragon from Alex, and then, as we all know, it went bye-bye. But what a great knife that was. Love that Iron Dragon, and that's cool. I will get one someday. Someday my ship will sail again. But in the meantime, I gotta say, Alex gave me such a great deal on that and a Medford at the same time that I am eternally grateful. Craig Vincent says, working their way to me as we speak. Ultim Titius. I'm not sure what that is, but I like it. Black Bear Bowie. Oh, sweet. Vintage. I've always wanted a Black Bear, if we're talking about the same one. The Cold Steel, the Loveless. Vintage Imperial Ireland slip joint. Vintage Boker Solingen Arnex slip joint. QSP Hedgehog Golden CF. Craig Vincent. What are you doing, sir? Black Bear, that if so, it's Craig. I'm pretty sure that's the Cold Steel. I've always wanted one of those. I have the OSS, and that is a great knife. But with all of the stainless furniture and the or hardware, I guess I should say, and the micarta, you not lucked out. You chose well, sir. My ultimate outdoor knife, says Dave, is my Conescraft custom neck biter. I can't remember which one the neck biter is, but you had me at Conescraft. That dude, I don't understand his talent. He's got some sort of incredible talent for making stuff, because he'll just like pop out with 5 incredible of the same fixed blade knives, and then he'll make a war club, and then something else, and then he'll do some hardscaping that looks like a, you know, an artisan did. That dude's amazing. And I asked him on the show a long time ago, and he's like, no, not so into it. I think I just want to make stuff. And I'm like, ugh, you sicken me with your talent. Edgy American says, Bob, did I mention Brian at Transparent Knives is doing the heat treats? That is a match made in heaven. That sounds perfect, dude. Because I know how much it means to you, and I know how much it means to him, and also I know how good he is. Not only the heat treats, but his blades, his like reblade blades are so cool. He does some amazing stuff. Kraken says, trusty lock in a sock never gets old. Jailhouse Kaganawa. Yes, I like that. I also have wait a minute. Here, this is my favorite travel weapon right here. Or I shouldn't call it that. This is my favorite travel thingy. Just a big plumbing nut, very, big plumbing nut on some 550 cord. You just drop this in your bag, take this off, throw this in your bag somewhere. It just looks like random crap left in your bag, but it's very, very effective. You can really mess stuff up with that if you had to. But just a nice little thing to travel with, just for a little reassurance. That and a stainless steel jotter pen, or something, some sort of pen that doesn't look too tactical, but is all metal. I don't recommend a Zebra because that joint is plastic, and it screws in with plastic. But I love them to write with. Scotch and Things, good to have you here. What did I miss? What did you buy? Okay, I haven't shown it. Let me show you. Let me show you. All right, so this is what I got. It is a painting, and it might take you a second because the lighting is a little it doesn't do this painting justice. It is a really beautiful painting from a guy called Chris Long, that I've been following on Instagram, and man, every one of his paintings I just drool over. And he does these little 6x6 inch landscape studies that are beautiful. You can't really tell the colors, I don't think, from this lighting, but there's a lot of really gorgeous stuff happening here. And the reason why I chose this painting is that is moonlight coming through that tree, and that is a motif, a visual motif that I just have always resonated with, to be woo about it. It's always something that I love just to see, whether it's in real life or in paintings. And so this, and I think it's because I have a painting over there hanging that you can't see, that my grandpa did in like 1915 or like 1925, when he was 15. And it was and it looks like this a bit. So anyway, I saw this and I thought, man, I have to get this, because I dropped hints to my wife, like, if you're ever curious about what you can get me, I know you don't like getting me knives, you can always get me a painting from this guy. And so I figured I'd break the ice with this, and I love it. I'm making 23 hours of travel across the globe for Blade. That's awesome, man. I can't wait to meet you. Are you going to be just roaming about, or do you have a table? Let me know. I'd love to meet you in person. Have a Nice Day says, I fell to your bad influences and also got a stitch with Ramlock. Yes. It does also have partial black coated blade. I do like the way that looks. I like the way Microtech partially coats their blades too. Bob, I've been rocking a purple violet PM2 up until I traded it today. Yeah, so Shane has a nice flow of knives. He keeps them coming and going. So you had the purple, like purple violet. God, I do love purple, but not necessarily. I haven't had good luck with purple knives, but that LUDT, I'm not gonna get rid of. Tanner, good to have you here, Tanner. I have a purple Skaha 2 in my hand right now. Got it for a steal. Those things are really cool. The Skaha is now that's not a knife I would necessarily buy, but I've had one here. I think Jock bought one that I sent it through me to him, and I had it here for a while. I did a video of it. So smooth, such a perfectly well-made knife, and it's also a cool father-son team up too. Watch and Cut says today's carry was the Thumb Stud Drifter from Quiet Carry. That I've been really curious about the Drifter. And the Casio Tron on the wrist. What is the Tron? Is it a like a collaboration with the studio when they made that movie, or is it like the Arnie where it's kind of got a it's gotten that name? What do you call it? Just a nickname. I'm curious. Oh, here I'm wearing kind of a busted but beloved Seiko number 5 here today. And the reason I'm wearing this, and this is not the original bracelet, the reason I'm wearing this is I was watching, YouTube knows me well, and it sends me a lot of great fight scenes. I love watching fight scenes, and there's a great fight scene in the movie Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, and he's on a bus and he just totally just destroys 5 young hoodlums, mostly Russian seeming. But anyway, he takes off his watch in James Bond form, because this happened also in Casino Royale, and he puts the watch over his hand and he just beats the hell out of a couple of these thugs with his watch. And I did a little research on it, and yeah, you could do some damage like that. So I just thought it was cool. So I decided I'd wear my metal watch for the past couple of days. Pat D's Nuts, nice to have you here. Oh, what am I saying, Pat? You and I have been talking, man. I had my ProTech Mordax in Magna Cut today. I got to say, I'm loving the Magna Cut now. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's a great steal. I think people are going to go for it. I think you're going to see it appearing on knives more and more. Just kidding, of course. Not kidding about how much I love it, but Magna Cut, I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of taken over. It's almost like the S35VN, and now S35VN is kind of like 14C, or a 154, kind of scotching things. Copper SMF and Rask. Ooh, nice. Copper SMF. So I have my, is it my pocket? Where did I put it? I had my SMF out, or my SMF, and I want another one. I want another one. Edwin Callow has been showing his what do you call it? SMFs and his SNGs and SMFs and all of his Striders, and they're so cool, man. Especially the titanium, all titanium models. They're so nice looking. So yeah, I hear you on that. And then the Rask, of course, from up north. That's also a great knife. Yeet Feet, good to have you here, Yeet Feet. My Rough Rider Black Mule Bowie arrived yesterday, and I love it. I'm glad you got that. That thing is awesome. And in the future, if you so desire, it's perfectly set up for a rehandle and not hard to take that handle off. As a matter of fact, my handle kind of started coming off just through using and abusing that 3CR13 MOV, or 3. I'm not sure what the I know it's 3CR, but I can't remember if it's 13 or 18 or whatever. MOV. It's an awesome steel for an outdoor knife. It's super tough, holds a great edge. Cold Steel's been using it too on their blister pack knives that they sell to big box stores. Split and Slices says Off-Grid Enforcer XL RD. That's Red Dawn edition. That's a sweet knife. All Off-Grid All Day Necker, and the Finch Harvester 5th pocket. That's a cool knife. The Harvester, extreme sheep's blade, or sheep's foot there. Really nice knife. Five Door says Vehement Mongrel. I love Vehement. I love their fixed blades. Vehement Mongrel and Dollar Knife, Cooper Cutlery. Oh, this is one with like a phenolic or acrylic handle with shredded up dollar bills or something like that. This old source says carry the RS 714. Oh yes, that Civivi. That's a cool one. 4-inch folding dagger by RS Knife Works. D Rocket 007 California legal out the front with steel, copper, brass layered custom Damascus blade. That's a cool one too. You featured that one a lot today and yesterday. What a cool little knife. And let's see, the Vosted Ankylo. Is that the one by Tough Thumb by Jeff Blauvelt? The new one, Pivot Lock. BlackRock Vandal Fixie and Nightcore EDC. Nice carry, man. Nice carry. Yeah. Love that Vandal. Will B's the one. I was trying to remember before who had the Karis Bolt V2, and it was Will B. Grimsmo Norseman, Protec, California Custom Knife Show Mordax, Ferrum Forge Knife Works Aluris, Microtech Ramlock Stitch. It's a theme. The Manganas Kaimano. The Manganas Kaimano. It's funny. I was just speaking with someone last night who was talking about Mr. Manganas and going to get me in touch with him. Kaiser Big Lighter XL, Axial Shift, the TKL Night Stalker, Close Quarters Combat, the Olight Baton 3, and the Karis Bolt V2. Very nice carry. Very nice carry, Will. Yes. Adrian says, today's carry, Cold Steel Double Agent 1 serrated version. Very nice. I love their serrations. I'm not crazy. I should say, and if it counts for anything, I know it's silly. They don't look as cool as other serrations, but man alive, do they work well. And here are serrations that I think look better. The Microtech. But anyway, that's just me being a shallow aesthete. I like them both, and Cold Steel is, in my eyes, proven to be like an absolute laser with the serrations. Okay, anyway, sorry. Let's see. SR1 Light Tonto, awesome. SR1 Light Tonto. Oh, okay. Folder, got it. I have that. That's my backpack knife. Coben serrated edge, how cool. And the Mini Tac Bowie, very nice carry. All Cold Steel. Adrian, I approve. Have a Knife Day says, I have Axe and Shield. Maybe we can go hand in hand with the blue-haired commies. Yes, I think so. I don't think it would. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Spoiled rotten. Okay, Edgy American says, Bob, unfortunately, there's no plans for a Texas Bowie at Edgy American Blades. Hey, dude, I don't need a Texas Bowie. You can give me an Arkansas Bowie. I'll take that too. A Bowie. Arkansas Bowie. No, despite common misconceptions, I love all blade shapes. All blade shapes except drop points. Just kidding. I like those too. Look at the trees. Good to have you here. Look at the trees. Horizontal right. Okay. Horizontal right side of the belt buckle. Okay, that's where I carry like this. Front right. Right of belt buckle. White River FC 3.5. I like those knives. The way they look anyway. Left of belt buckle. Oh, horizontal White River Exodus, a jackalope. Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, let me get this straight. Okay, on the right-hand side of your belt buckle, up front, Scout, you got the White River FC 3.5. To the left of it, horizontal, and I'm assuming they're both drawing in the same direction. So one you can draw reverse and one you can draw standard, is the White River Exodus Jackalope White River Exodus 3 Adventure Craft in the right front pocket. I love it. So this is 4, right? White River Exodus is different from the Jackalope, right? So you're talking 4 fixed blade knives here. I love it. I love it. I'm interested. Do tell me, draw orientation. I would imagine they're not going like this, butt to butt. I imagine they're like this. But tell me if that's the case. Broke Arizona Knives says Microtech MSI Rough Rider Sabak Lex Rex Custom Shard, Sobriety Coin, and Forest Tank. Okay, what I like here, Broke, is that you go from this is kind of the way I carry. This actually, besides the Sobriety Coin, could totally be something that I would carry. A Microtech, kind of pricey main carry folder. And then something like Rough Rider, which is in the opposite direction. Inexpensive, but there's just something about this one that I love. And then the Lex Rex, something by a maker, a custom maker. Love it. And Sobriety Coin, I don't know if congratulations, but keep at it. Craig Vincent, today was Cold Steel 8010, the Bush Ranger in S35 VN, the Serrated XL Vaquero, one that is near and dear to me, the XL Holdout, Crawford 2, the Grick, the Kiradashi. Which one? I think you mean the folding one. The Kershaw Oblivion, the PM3, Kershaw Oblivion. Which one is that? The PM3, the Camillus 7 in Coyote Tan, and the OD Miguron Pelora. Oh my gosh, it's dizzying. You got a lot, but I'm especially happy you have a couple of large Cold Steels on you like that. Holdout in that Vaquero. Jesse, nice painting. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Not that I did it, but I appreciate that you appreciate it. You know what I mean. Doug Bowl says, Bob, I just took the plunge on your site, knife ship for free, and purchased the Hell's Autobahn. Oh, awesome. That's not my site, Doug, but we have an affiliate link. So thank you very much. That's awesome. That means that a little bit of that purchase will come to support the show. So greatly appreciated, Doug. And Hell, I do not have any Hell knives, but they make a hell of a great knife. Sorry, terrible. Had to do it. But it reminds me of, I would like to get a big Hell because now that I've seen the trailer for Sisu and I've seen that guy fighting with that style of knife, it's kind of cool. Have a Knife Day says, we already got our Blade Show travel taken care of. Awesome. Feels good. Feels good to be in the pocket. Feels good to be. I have a hotel in a room in the place I wanted to be. It's more expensive than it was last year and the year before, but that's because everything else is. That's kind of a bummer. But I could have gotten a knife instead. I got a hotel room in Atlanta, and that's cool. What a knife that would be, though. Kraken says, table 16Q. Likewise, will be great to finally meet you in person. Awesome. All right, 16Q, guys. Kraken Tactical EDC. If you're not familiar with him, go check him out on Instagram, Kraken Tactical. Really, really badass. I would say combat-oriented knives, but I know you could use your knives for a whole lot of other things, no doubt. But to me, that's what I see. Ray Herman, nice to have you here, Ray. It also looks like blue Kieranite scales of Jack Wolf knives. Oh, yes. I love those on the Little Bro. That's what I have. And man, what a beautiful material. Look at the tree says, oh, yeah, the Prometheus Design Works SPD X11 titanium Exacto with disposable number 11 scalpel blades with tritium on the thumb button. That sounds cool. I love scalpel blades. When I was, my dad was a physician, and so he could get we had a really great first aid kit, as you might imagine, and we always had scalpels. My brother was a severe hobbyist. I mean, like severe meaning like his stuff, even still, he could just build amazing stuff. And he always used models and stuff like that, dioramas and such. And he always used scalpels to trim and sculpt pieces and stuff like that. And yeah, I love scalpels. I love the shape of the blade. Now, if you could get a double-edged scalpel, that'd be kind of cool. Here's something that reminds me of a scalpel that I got from Fudo Forge at last year's Blade Show. It was just a $30 impulse purchase. They had a whole bunch of these on the table. It's sharp as hell. I sharpened it even more, put a jute wrap on there, and this thing drops in the pocket and it's just wicked. I love it. Little scalpel. Jim, what was that last one? Oh, Acid Test Kids. Good to have you here. He loves Strider. I love Strider. But what was that last one? Ray Herman, remember to smash that like button. Well, thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Edgy American says, Bob, my first batch is small fixies in Nitro V. Large combat blades and crewware are up next. Yes. That's so cool, man. Combat. I'd love to see your design. I'd love to see your combat blade design. Split and Slices says, I mean, like before you, I'd love to see your drawings, and I would, of course, keep it under my hat, but I love seeing people's sketches, drawings, workups, and all that kind of stuff. Split and Slices says, Bob, your painting looks like the Hogwarts Wampin Willows and the moonlight to bring out Professor Lumpin's fangs in Harry Potter. Been reading to the grandkids. I was like, man, his memory is fresh on this stuff. That's cool. Now I haven't read those. I've seen some of the movies. My daughters have read the books. Well, my older daughter read all of them. My younger daughter read the first one. Well, we all have our frames of reference. To me, it reminds me of, I don't know. I think I had dreams when I was little. Or something. I don't know. Frankie Frank, nice to have you here, Frankie Frank. That, of course, is a beautiful vista right there as well. Hello, what's going on, fellow knife junkies? Anybody know anything about D-Bad knives over at the Kukri house? Are they legit? Yes. They use 5160 spring steel. How durable is it? Thanks to all. Frankie Frank, the only reason I haven't gotten one of those knives from over there is every time I kind of get like frustrated because I want a number of them, and like his new sax is really cool, but it's got finger grooves. And Donnie's I've met Donnie in person. He's a big dude. His finger grooves are not going to match my finger grooves. So every time I've gone to buy a knife, I've been like, oh, but maybe I should get the Rambo 3. Maybe I should get, I've experienced Kukri House knives. They are legit as the day is long. And he also puts, D-Bad puts his knives through the ringer. And so as far as durability is concerned, yes, the design is great. Kukri House makes great knives, and they're inexpensive, relatively speaking. So I would go for it. I have every intention to go for it myself. I just haven't yet. Five Door says, Cooper Cutlery owns the Dollar Knife brand. They did a run recently of a single blade jack. They're in Winchester, Ohio, and using Queens. Oh, yeah. Okay. Queens Old Machinery. Now, I didn't know they were in Ohio. That's a cool detail. But Queens Old Machinery is an even cooler detail. That's kind of, doing it a little bit like just doing it old school. I like that. Andrew, nice to have you here, Andrew. Pardon me. Just got a new carved knife. They make their own scales from burl and resin. Cheap knife, but the artistry in the scales is nice. Some of the color mixes would go well with your new painting. How cool. I love that. So recently, soon, Andrew Farlano of Trained Monkey Knives will be on the show. I already talked to him, and that's something they do too, is make their own handles. And you can actually, when you're ordering a knife, kind of tell them how you want the handle to be. Of course, that costs a little more money. Or you can even have them totally customize. But that sounds great. If it's got these kind of colors, these dark purples and dark greens. I'm not sure if any of that was coming through on the video, but sounds cool. Autumn Wind. Hello, all. Hello, Autumn Wind. Nice to have you here with us. Excuse me. Let us know what you're carrying, Autumn Wind. Gus says, yeah, the Hinderer spear point blade shape is masterfully designed to give you a tough tip while allowing for a thin edge and centered tip. The Hinderer Bowie is one I need to try. Hinderer's coolest is the Wharncliffe. I do love the Bowie. I have the 24 Bowie. It's a beautiful, and that 4-inch length allows it to fully express its lines in a way that the 3.5 doesn't, if you ask me. So I really love the XM24 Bowie, but my favorite is the XM24 Wharncliffe. It is just the most beautiful Wharncliffe. And the 3.5 on the 18 is nice. It's just not quite as nice. That 4-inch length gives both of those designs the full kind of breadth of their expression, or length of their expression. Look at the tree says, yeah, one in reverse grip draw. Okay, all right, cool. That's exactly how I was imagining it. Maybe the one that you draw with your right hand and then the one with your left, or this is how I would have it set up. You can kind of pull out and you have one in reverse. Though actually, I would have it the other way. Because if I were fighting with two knives in my hand, and I'm not saying that that's why you have them set up like that, but if I were to carry two knives like that, it would be set up so that I'm always more comfortable with left hand and reverse grip, and I would put my main hand forward grip for the range. Strider Gaming Videos. Good to have you here, Strider Gaming Videos. Kershaw Speed Safe Custom. Nothing else. I like it. I like how you operate, sir. Kind of a traditional classic guy. That's kind of like me. Power Play for Real. Good to have you here, sir. I'm getting the Bush Ranger Light as a beater blade too. Yeah, the Bush Ranger Light. Bush Ranger Light. That's the folder, right? The green folder. It's got an extra lock on it, maybe. Look at the tree says Exodus 3 Adventure Craft and Exodus 4, Jackalope, is an Exodus knife and tool manufactured by White River Knife and Tool. I got you. Okay. I think that's cool. I love Tops does a lot of that. Actually, Tops is doing that right now for CRKT with their new knife. It looks like a Tops all day long too. Northern Knife says today's pocket loadout was an XM18 Auto, Chavez Scapegoat, Microtech Annex, Tactile Turn Zerkside Click, and now notorious Marfione Tactical Beard Comb. The now notorious Tactical Beard Comb. So when you're in the trenches, whoosh, or when you're ready to break down the door on that SWAT raid, you can manage your look in a way that the guys won't come down on you for, because you're like, dude, it's a Microtech. Come on. Craig Vincent says, I've been buying inexpensive knives to try. The serrations on the Cold Steel kitchen utility knife are pretty sweet. So are the ones on the Ontario Agalite series. Spyderco is next on the list. The Spidey Edge. Nothing quite like the Spidey Edge. Though on kitchen knives, I'm not crazy about the serration, unless it's a bread knife. Because everyone's got their experience with a Ginsu, that kind of thing. And for me, the way I cut, I prefer not. Jerry C, nice to have you here, Jerry C. But regardless of the knife, it's still cheaper to maintain than a woman. LOL. No doubt about that. Autumn Wind says the J Cape V4. That's a nice knife. That feels heavenly in hand. I love the way the J Cape feels. I had it on loan here. Hero Stick sent it. And I was also shocked how comfortable or totally unobtrusive the jagged lightning bolt clip was in hand. So what a great knife the J Cape is. Plus that wicked clip point blade with a super thin hollow grind and then the compound ground. Well, the tip and the GEC 15 cap lifter in Cocobolo. Okay, I have the GEC 15 cap lifter in green micarta. It has an easy open notch for the blade, and the blade is a sheep's foot. Is that the same model? I'm wondering. Same year. Power Play for Real says, yes, I have the regular Bush Ranger. Okay. For a minute there, I was thinking of the Bush. They have another one, Bush something. The Bush Conqueror, the Bush something else. TSW, good to have you here, TSW. Would have bought a knife, but I had to buy a 3.6 plastic Pentastar motor for my Jeep. Oh, dude. Okay, I know I sound like a new Pentastar, but that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. You had to. I see the thumbs down now. Had to. And the butt in all caps and the downward thumb. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry that happened. That sucks. But hopefully that gives the Jeep a whole new life, Unexpected expenses just suck. But I know that I don't need to tell anyone here that. Yep. Could have bought a knife, bought a painting, and definitely will buy another knife here coming up soon. Speaking of knife, let me show you this one I have out here kicking it. This is the dagger side, even though it's not a dagger, of the Espada y Daga set I have from Traditional Filipino Weapons. And if you're familiar with the brand, I mean, it's a very popular brand of Filipino knife and sword because they are amazing. They're made in the Philippines by expert smiths and imported or made for a company in Connecticut by Ron Kazakowski, who's an old, I shouldn't say old, he's a gentlemanly JKD Jeet Kune Do master and teacher, and of course wrapped up in that is Filipino Kali. So he's got these guys making all of these incredible blades that are way more than battle worthy, but also represent the wide swath of blade designs from the Philippines, the wide selection, I should say, of blade designs from the Philippines. But this one here with that little hooked pommel and the lightness and the size of it is so, can't really do it with the mic here, but it feels so good in hand to move around. Their stuff is awesome. Jim, can you bring up that last comment? I didn't mean to strangle him out with my poetic waxing. But yeah, these guys make awesome stuff. Everybody hit the like button, says Jerry C. I knew I brought that comment back for a reason. Thank you, sir. One thing you won't get when you buy this knife is this amazing sheath. My brother made this for me, and he also made a leather sheath for the larger size sword part of this. And then he built a battle belt rig for it. And I asked that he make it so that I could have them slanted. So he put on slanted belt loops, and then also on the back straight belt loops. So this thing is awesome. It doesn't come with that, but these blades are incredible. If you're on the fence or curious about any of the knives behind me, Filipino style knives, most of them are old, except for these two, which you never see because I'm in front of them, but those are also traditional Filipino weapons. Power Play for Real says that looks fabulous, and I'm sure it performs great too. Yeah, it does. It's so sharp, and it's high carbon steel, so it's super tough. It's awesome. Love that knife. Let me see here. And then I got to show you what the Gentleman Junkie giveaway package is coming up. All right, let me put this beauty away. Yeah, there he is. Andrew Farlano of Trained Monkey Knives coming up on Sunday. What a great dude. Another Marine who, with combat experience, who came out and started making knives to honor his fallen brothers and his living brothers, and also to make up for all the junk he was issued. So definitely check out that great interview. And let me show you this real quick. So this is what we're going to be giving away for the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. And this is the box it comes in. Fisher Blades, Montana, USA, established 2020. And they're one of their taglines is "Figure it out." I think that's funny. Hey, figure it out, you jackass. Figure it out. And then inside it comes, I like how it's wrapped in brown paper. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. You have your info card. Proudly made in the USA at Fisher Blades, we are resolute in producing USA made knives. All Fisher Blade knife and sheath materials are USA sourced, with some of our raw blade steel coming from Germany. The entire production process is in the USA, including fasteners, scale production, sheath production, etc. Final knife build is 100% in our Missoula, Montana shop. Blade, Beckwith Covert, batch number 001 through... this is this is the first batch, and it's number 221 of 230. AEBL is the steel, hardened to 60 to 62, assembled by Chaz, who you will see on the show shortly also, and sharpened by his brother, John Fisher. Final inspection by Chaz. So the Fisher brothers have a blade company. John Fisher was making blades when when Chaz was working at the big corporations like Boker and CRKT and others. And then they came together, brought their skills together. Now, in this package, you'll get the U.S. Constitution. Always good to have our founding documents. And luckily here, it's in print, because I know half of you guys probably can't read cursive because you weren't taught. Unless, actually, my crowd is a little is probably more the cursive reading crowd. But it also comes with a user manual, so how to dispatch foes with that knife. Shows you how to draw it, how to use it, and then where to use it, like where to cut. So a cool little manual. And then it comes with some beef jerky, so you can make sure your testosterone is in the right place to use this knife. And I'm with you on that. Just about my favorite snack food these days is Wegmans. Wegmans beef jerky. They have some really, really good beef jerky. And I have a Wegmans right next to where I work, and I love to go spend my free time there. It's like, oh yeah, you got a half hour for lunch? Go to Wegmans. See what you can get. All right, another knife I have out right now that I've just been going crazy about, and I wish I could carry this more often. And now that it's getting hot, it's a little bit less. But this is my favorite current late night dog walking knife. This is the Station 9 Sear. I believe it's their number 8 model. All of their models have numbers. But this Bowie, this is meant to be a survival and fighting knife. So you're escaping and evading and surviving and resisting with this knife out in the field. And I got to say, it is for a puncturing knife, this thing stabs amazingly. That swedge and the point, the diamond-like point that this all comes to is incredible. Craig says, Bob, I have to paint my own paintings so I can afford to buy knives. I'm a decent painter, but I can't make a knife. I hear that. We have a living room full of my paintings. Well, not full of them. There are two of my better ones up there. Very best painting I ever did, my parents have, is in my calculation and also in my dad's, which is a little heartbreaking. It's like everything after this was substandard. He never said that, but he didn't have to. Have a Knife Day says, we will be going to Missoula in a couple of weeks. Montana, the big sky state. Beautiful, beautiful place. Another thing I love about this Station 9 Sear is its 1095-ness. This is made out of 1095. It's got like this acid stone wash to sort of protect it. But 1095, super durable, robust steel, and tough. I love the toughness of it, how easy it is to sharpen in the field. Not that I've ever actually sharpened it in the field, but basically the way I sharpen around here is like sharpening in the field. Usually it's just a stone in my hand. At this point, I rarely break out the sharp maker even. But this thing is awesome. People like Have a Knife Day might consider getting a knife like this. I know he loves the combat knives. He loves the Bowie shape. This thing might be up his alley. Such a good knife. Let's see. Oh, I was going to talk about the Tesseract NF1. That video is live, and I was going to show off the knife and play with it in front of the camera. And I'm not sure where it is, honest to goodness. So it is awesome, though. I really like the knife. I was showing it off for a couple of weeks, and the only sort of ding I gave it was some people might find it a little heavy. I certainly don't. But I ended up using it. I was kind of like holding off on making the video because I hadn't really used it much. And then I got, this was the lawnmower. I got the lawnmower, new Honda gas lawnmower that kicks ass. I know, the small things. But this one I don't have to push with all my might uphill. My old one was so cheap, I bought one. I was so cheap when I bought it. I bought one without auto drive. But anyway, big, gnarly box. I was going to use the Luzon, 6-inch Luzon, which lives in our kitchen, kind of near the junk drawer. It does a lot of cardboard breaking down. It's also on sort of half security detail, even though it's in the kitchen full of knives. But anyway, I was going to take that one out, and then I said, hey, essay itself. I should get the NF1 and try this out. And that knife just glided through. I wish I had it. Just glided through this double walled, super durable cardboard that they package lawnmowers in, and it never got uncomfortable. It's a thick enough handle with a nicely shaped and rounded off pocket clip that it never got angry in the hand. It just, man, it's a great knife. And dadgummit, I don't have it with me. But I just want to let you know, I posted a video today of it with a review. Tomorrow, I will be posting a video of, I didn't even show you the knife that's coming in the package. Oh, I'm such an absent-minded guy. So this is the knife that I was talking about. I was talking about all the stuff that we're going to be giving away that comes in the package, but I forgot to show you the knife. So this is the knife that's coming to the Gentleman Junkie in May, and we will have Chaz Fisher on, the guy who designed the knife and actually did the assembly and QC of the knife. So he will be on the show giving the knife away. This is mine and not the one. I didn't want to unwrap the one that you'll be getting that's being given away. That's this one, wrapped up in a brown paper package, tied up with string. Not really, but these are some of my favorite things right here. And so this will be coming to you. The Covert. It is a all weapon, all day long, self-defense pocket carry knife. And, I've been talking about this a bit. And, he very much stresses that this is a weapon and no doubt does a great job at that. But most people who are carrying this are going to use it for their EDC tasks. And yes, it is a fantastic knife for that. So I wanted to also show off some other pocket carry knives. Now this one, the Little Ruffian, as I mentioned before, is intended for pocket carry. But with that sheath, the way it is, I would prefer it in the waistband. For pocket carry with this Kydex, I would reduce the size of the sheath, this portion, and it would draw easier. This is better for in the waistband. But I'm starting to warm up to pocket carry. I have, of course, been exposed to it through this. This is the Amtac Northman, a great pocket fixed blade knife. This one is, if you have big hands and you're considering getting the Northman, get the XL, because this just barely accommodates my hand, and my hands are medium. I shake hands that are smaller. I shake plenty of hands that are larger. So like a big guy, big dude would want something smaller, would want the XL of this. I love the shape of that blade. It's very businessy, similar to this, even though they're very different blade shapes. The points are both very much about thrusting, and of course, I love that. So these are all about in the same size range. And what size is that, you say? Let's see. Let's see, about 7 inches overall. For a fixed blade, that's pretty manageable. Pretty manageable indeed. And actually, a nice thing about the Beckwith Covert is that it gives you a full 4-finger grip. This they all do, but they all seem a little bit crowded. Probably the least crowded is this one right here, because it doesn't give you as much. It gives you a little blade to a little room to have your fingers run off. Will B says that looks great. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but I agree. Here's a little pocket carry knife that I got from Dirk Pinkerton, and it's like an OSS knife kind of. This is his broadhead model. Drops in the pocket, and you have this wicked double-edged blade when you need it that you can carry and deploy in all different kinds of ways. Very, very cool knife. Reminds me, like I said, of one of those OSS lapel daggers, that kind of thing. Keon GR7075. Oh, Keon, nice to have you here. Greetings to all. Since the mini sax is not in stock at the, I'm not sure if you're the Keon I'm thinking of, but welcome, and it's great to have you here. Since the mini sax is not in stock at the Emerson website, I had to postpone and buy a fresh set of tires for the car. Spyderco M4 Mannix and a Leatherman Skeletool in the pocket. Very, very nice. Yeah, sometimes that happens, you know. Boy, I'll tell you, that mini sax is awesome. Emerson, you know, I love the sax is probably my second favorite Emerson folder, the full size, and the little one is really awesome. Feels great in the hand too. TSW says you need to track down a Thomas Rice, born in fire, knife and tool, little bastard, also a Vietnam veteran. Oh, okay, wait. Don't pull that down, Jim. This is what I got to do. Instead of writing on my computer, I'm shocked it took me this long to figure this out, but all right. Well, thank you, TSW. I appreciate that. Thomas Rice, born in fire. Definitely have to check those guys out, because I'm guessing you're triangulating on my taste and figuring out what I like, and those guys I would like. All right, if anyone's wondering about the Nova One, I have been slacking and having difficulty, but it's very. Oh, Jim, thank you. That's awesome. The Tesseract video is live. Oh, look at it. That's cool. I love it. I don't know why I'm so shocked by this technology, but I see stuff sometimes and I'm like, how great is that? I remember the first time I saw a video call, I just about crap my pants. I was like, this is 2001. It's happening. And it was the year 2001. It was early, no, it was a little bit after that. But it was early of Apple FaceTime or whatever. FaceTime. And I was like, I can't believe what's happening. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's like 2001. All right. So I was talking about the Nova 2. Yes. Announcement to come very soon. I just have to finish my write-up and my pictures. And Jim and I are going to do a little test purchase, make sure everything's great. And then I'm settling all the final details with Matt. And I think that the knife is how it's going to be. And the sheath is going to change ever so slightly. But there it is. And I wanted to show you, I think last week I had forgotten to bring out the Nova 2 or the Nova 1 just to show them to you in side by side. These are both prototypes. The Nova 1 production model was slightly different than this. But you'll see from looking at them like this, they are just about the same size. The Nova 2 is just a little bit longer in the blade. And that tiny bit more length, it's about like a 1/4 inch, I guess, or maybe even a little less than that. I swear it makes it feel like a bigger knife. And it is a bigger knife, but you can actually feel the difference. Not that there's more cutting edge. That recurve actually gives you quite a bit of cutting edge if you measure it out. But this straight portion, this thing is the proverbial laser beam. Sorry for the corny metaphor, but it's really frighteningly sharp, and that point is just ridiculously acute. This is an excellent knife, and I got to say, I'm proud of the blade design, but basically the Japanese did it for me years ago when they invented the Kiridashi. Really, the hat goes off to Matt Chase. Here, that's my logo. Matt Chase of Hogtooth, who's just an exceptional knife maker. His stuff is just insanely good. And so, I mean, he's been doing it for 30 years. He's a little bit younger than I am, I think, by like a couple of years. And he's been doing it for a long time, ever since he got out of the military. Or actually, he did it before the military, and then he was a scout sniper, hence the name Hogtooth Knives. And then he has been making knives for a long time, and the kind of stuff he's been doing is this is what he's known for, or has always been known for up until now. These kind of complicated forged beautiful American knives, lots of Bowies, lots of hunters, but cool, exciting hunters. And you know, you see the ruffian, this design, a very popular one. So he's just so good. So I'm so happy to have this working relationship with him because I love his knives and I can't wait to have more and more. And actually, I have I know I'm getting way ahead of myself with the you know, with the designs, but I think I know what I want the Nova 3 to look like. And it's going to be a slight departure. Well, they all are same handle, but this one is so good. 5-door Nova 2, need it badly. That thrills me. I'm excited to hear that people are getting excited about this knife because that blade is just killer, and we know that the ergonomics, the handle is really really awesome. If you've ever held the Nova 1, it's the same handle, and so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Can't wait. Can't wait. And those are very good blade designs. Thank you, Power Play. It's funny to take credit for it because all I did was draw it down on a piece of paper. Whereas like history has drawn and redrawn those blades over and over and over. And then I see them and I say, oh, I like them. I'm going to draw a picture of a Bowie knife. And then I send it to someone, they make it, and suddenly it's my design. You know, standing on the shoulders of giants for sure. And one of them being the maker. He's so good. There's so many knives I want him to make me. I want a crown. Imagine this: crown stag handle, broke back sacks. I think that would be just so cool. Or even a scramma sax, like a short sword in that same sort of broke back design. Where is that? I don't have mine. It's over there. But I think that would be really cool with a crown stag, you know, handle. Oh, that would be so cool. And no guard, or maybe a little bit of a guard. Maybe a little bit of a guard. But I kind of like the way the sax looks without the guard because that's kind of how it was made, I think, mostly. Yeah. I like how Jim put the video up. Okay. I'm gonna put these away so I don't cut myself. Very cool. So what about fixed blades, guys? What excites you fixed blade wise? I mean, do you like the pocket carry? That's a big question here because for me, I run into an issue. I run into one issue with pocket carry, which is well, I don't like the way it gouges into my hip when I sit down. So it's got to be sort of angled. Here we'll see the way this is angled slightly in that direction. That's to accommodate or to accommodate the hip. That is to take into account that if you're folded in half or leaning forward, you're not going to be able to access the knife, and the knife will be gouging into you. So Chaz here attempted to cant the knife off ever so slightly by mounting the clip a little bit cattywampus, so that handle juts out at a little bit of an angle and makes it more accessible. Here we don't see that in the what is this? The Amtac Northman. So the Northman is kind of an interesting knife. This was meant to be an all-around like have on you all the time survival knife. So it's got, which is kind of funny because it's got here well, a ferro rod for throwing sparks, and it does have a 90-degree spine that you could throw sparks with for sure. It also has this sort of sneak reaper style thing here, where you can put a $100 bill or a what do you call it? Key to a handcuffs, or stash something to help you escape and evade. There, but the blade shape to me is so businessy. Yeah, it's like a skien-doo. It's like a Scottish sock knife, if you will. but very, very, very stabby, stout, and it's just built for penetration. So I did definitely opt on purpose for the serrations on this one. I did hem and haw and go back and forth a bit on it, but I'm glad I landed on the serrated version of it. The T-shaped handle on top is comfortable, and you got a little hump back here to help you draw it to pinch. You get that here too. You get a little more exaggerated back hump and a quillion for drawing it, and then a place to rest your thumb. So I love that. We've seen that on a lot of knives. See that a little bit on, or this was sort of inspired by that. This is the one that I'm doing with TKL knives, the Agent 001. I love the thumb pommel rest quillion area. That's what we'll call it. Not combative edge. Who's the one? Compliance edge has the one that I really like. Dave has that. TSW says the Attleboro knife is also a fantastic Vietnam veteran designed fixed blade. I love it. The Attleboro knife. All right. I'm going to do this real quick. All right. Attleboro knife. I will definitely have to check that out. I love combat knives. I've been recently, boy, this is one that I would love to have. And I was like, I wonder how much this would cost to like find on the secondary market. Blah, blah, blah. Whoa. Walter Brand Model 2 is the one that I would love to have. Oh my God. Very expensive. They're so cool. Look up Walter Brand Model 2. They are so cool, so amazing. They're combat knives, to me, sort of in the tradition of, I would put it on the same shelf as a Randall made knife. This guy started making knives in 1980, and I'm going to be interviewing him soon. He's a living legend. I cannot wait. Walter Brand, but I will not be buying any Walter Brand knives anytime soon. As the closest I could get to a Brand knife would be a ProTech Brand switchblade, because he designed a switchblade for them, an automatic. But yeah, there it is. Oh God, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Jim. Oh my God, that thing. And so that's a double-edged blade, double-edged recurve drop point with that iconic handle and the quillions, and that is so cool. Sharpen or finger choil. Such a great knife. The thing that gets me most about that is the double-edged drop point. It doesn't look like it's going to be one, but it's just got a ever so slight swell on the top and a swell in the belly, and that top is sharpened, like 30% of it. God, I love that. Love that. And that's another thing that's very Randall made-esque, is to have that sharpened swedge at all costs. With Randall made knives, they all have the sharpened swedge almost to a knife. Power Play for Real says pocket carry fixed blades are something I need to look into. Those you have are inspiring. Yes, they are. And there's so the thing I was going to say about, say, the Little Ruffian, this was not as successful for me in pocket carry because the retention was too great. So a little tweak of the sheath would allow better pocket carry. But for this one, I would love to see a leather pouch sheath that comes up to about here and has a DCC clip, but makes it just easier to pull out of the pocket. I'd put a cool little lanyard on it. It'd be so precious. This also cuts really nicely. After he gave me permission, I went to town, and it cuts great. Mostly cardboard, and I did some sisal rope. But I'm going to do some cutting on screen with this because I want to give this some good airtime, because I think it's really, really awesome. And I think people who like small fixed blade knives will gravitate towards this one. Wilby says, I don't pocket carry fixed blade knives. I prefer to have them on the belt. Leaves more room for folders in the pockets. Yes, of course. I couldn't agree with you more, Will. Have a Knife, that's kind of how I roll too. Have a Knife Day says, my wife, Naoko, sounds like Naoko, accepts your thanks as a representative of Japan being born in Tokyo. All right, that's cool. That's awesome. I met your wife. She was lovely at Blade Show last year. Craig Vincent says, for small fixed blades, it's so hot in here all of a sudden. Woo! Craig Vincent says, for small fixed blades, I prefer in the waistband appendix carry or necker. So did anyone read the story in the news about the guy who killed himself with his own neck knife? A terrible story. I mean, just a terrible story. I think he was at a restaurant and he was going to the car, and Jeff Cutlery Lover did a whole video on this because he is a huge proponent of the neck knife and was like, I'd never heard of anyone doing this. And no one really knows how it happened. People can only speculate. It's not, I'm not even sure if foul play was ruled out, but basically he had a neck knife that he got stabbed in the chest with and was found in the parking lot. Terrible, like tragic story. Can you imagine just something go, you and me and everyone we know carries knives and loves them and fools around with them. And you imagine just doing something, making one false move when you're in an unguarded moment, and then suddenly you're like, oh, here it is. Terrible story. But anyway, neck knives, always been a little bit controversial. Not controversial, but people kind of like love them or hate them. I happen to love them. Don't carry them all the time, but I happen to love them. Doug Bull says, Bob, I would think that deep carry pocket, the folder would be best. Perhaps fixed blade best on the belt. Well, that's how I feel too, or in the waistband. But there has been a real movement. It's a movement. It's a social movement toward pocket fixed carry. Actually, what I find, it has more to do with the pockets. Jeans are not actually the best pockets for pocket carry, in my estimation. Neither are khakis. They are both too extreme. The jeans pockets are like this. Khaki pockets are like this. So I like to pocket carry these kind of fixed blades in like tactical pants, where the pocket comes down. It's kind of like half and half. The pocket comes down at a slant and then levels out. 511 pants do that a lot. And it levels out kind of over on the hip a little bit more than right on the front, like a pair of jeans. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the angular cut hiding a little bit of the handle, and then you get the flat portion of the pocket seam for your clip to go over. If you can picture that anyway. So I do like the pocket carry. I'm not thoroughly convinced that it's 100% of the time my way to go. As a matter of fact, I'm not convinced at all that it's 100% my way to go, but I could see how, like Chaz, for instance, that's his favorite mode of carry. He carries two of these things, one in each pocket. So to him, obviously, it's no problem at all. So I've been carrying this week. Jerry C says, I've got the SOG Seal Pup Elite. Love that thing with all the jimping. I really like is an EDC fixed blade, just the right size for my taste. Granted, some folks look down on SOG, but I love that knife. There's certain SOGs you cannot look down on. The Seal Pup is by far one of them. It's like one of their most esteemed and used knives, used by actual SEALs and other military folk, but also all of their SOG fixed blades before they went cheese, you know, with the stacked leather handles and all of those beautiful SOGs. Like, there are a lot of really good SOGs. They just made a couple of false moves there. Split and Slices says, all right, guys and dolls, got it cut out. I got the horse right here. Have a great weekend and enjoy your blades. Split a slice with a friend. Bye. Byron, have a wonderful weekend, sir. And keep reading that Hogwarts to the grandkids. They will remember that forever. So you're doing, that's awesome. All righty, man. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you here next week. Doug Bowl says, Jerry, my 35-year-old SOG folder is still going strong. I like that you named him Jerry. That's good. I like when people name dogs or other things like very normal names. Like, this is my dog, Al or Fred. Have a Nice Day says, have you tried the 511 jeans? They are cut differently. I've not tried their jeans. I just have some of their tactical pants that have a lot of pockets, but they're hidden, sort of hidden. They don't look like they have a lot of pockets, but I haven't done the jeans. I have the kind of jeans I've always liked are boot cut. I don't like skinny jeans, and I feel like their pants probably veer that way. But I should try them. Craig Vincent says, in my fantasy knife life, I carry like Jimmy Mississippi Khan in El Dorado. Ooh, how's that? How does he carry? Now I'm curious. Big Bowie knife in the back, slipped under the belt. I've been carrying this a lot, and I just left Jim's for him. Jim, you'll find it. This is the dick pic from Wingard Wearables, and I'm still figuring out exactly how I like to carry it, but I think the best way for me is in the waistband in the front. Here, I'm gonna see if I can. No, I can't. Not without moving everything, but like this in the waistband with just this handle part hanging out. And that's how I carry my asymmetrically handled push dagger from Stroop Knives. And it's pretty good. I haven't had too much problem, but I got to say, this little pry end is it's a sharp chisel edge. So I'm concerned about, at first I was wearing it luckily the sheath is ambidextrous, but I had it in the waistband at 3 o'clock like this. And then I thought, how terrible would it be to reach back and have this gouge me? So I think having it pointed down is better and off to the side a little bit. But regardless, I'll come around and really figure out my best way of carrying this. But it is really cool. It's very wicked as a weapon. And as a tool, it's extremely useful. He calls it an extension of your finger. It's like just part of the hand. And I keep using it as a pokey stabby. But really, for him, it's a tool. Tonight, I used this little hammer pole to knock a nail into the kitchen wall to hang a little sign that we got. And it worked great. It worked great. Little tiny. Great for prying. Great for anything you want. So, yeah, I love Wingard Wearable stuff, as you know. I'm always kind of showing off the back ripper, which I have right here, just in case I have to rip any backs. Five Door says, I've tried pocket carry fixed blades. Cumbersome for me. I just love folders. Man, I love folders too. I hear that. Maybe it's not pocket carry then. Maybe you need a belt carry of some sort. You're like, no. Folders. TSW says Prometheus Design Works for field and tack pants. Oh, that's a good idea. They have a lot of cool stuff besides knives. Craig Vincent says, yeah, I think my neck might be a bit too thick to worry about that. Friends constantly want to choke me, but can't get their hands around it. And a surgeon once took 5.5 hours to get through it. That's good, man. It's good to have a tough neck. My brother-in-law, former Marine, is a big dude, and he said that when he was younger, like, guys would come up to him in bars and be like, dude, what do you do for your neck? You got a great neck. I want a neck like yours, Or they come up and think that because he's got a thick neck, he wants to fight everyone, which is crazy. He's a lover, not a fighter, but man alive, I've seen him fight, and you don't want to mess with that lover. I saw... Anyway, Jerry C says, for sure, so many companies create a really great hit product and then cheapen it with different manufacturing locations, switch materials, etc., all to boost that bottom line. Sad. Yeah, and they sell, and then the people that they sell to are not necessarily knife companies or something. All sorts of stuff goes wrong. But that's the one thing that I miss about SOG the most are the special fixed blade, historical American combat fixed blade knives. The Mac V SOG, of course, the most famous, but they had a bunch of others. The Pentagon and the Desert Dagger and the Covert this and that, and they're all just awesome, especially with the stacked leather. I'm a sucker for the stacked leather handle. What can I say? Not much. All I can say is like, notify, subscribe. And I'm about to bug out. I'm about to bug out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to remind you, we have an interview show coming up that you must do check out. Andrew Farlano of Trained Monkey Knives, really great guy, family business in Utah. But man, you got do a little pre homework and check him out on Instagram. Trained Monkey Blade Co. His knives are so cool, and I think he might be making one for me, which happens to be a double-edged Tonto. I mean, triple-edged Tonto. So, I mean, how cool is that? And then, they do crazy handles too. So be sure to check that out. And I shot a bunch of videos. Those are going to be going up soon. James Caan threw them from his upper back behind his neck. Never missed. It was a movie though. So this thing about having knives here to throw, I had a Kempo karate teacher in New York who was also a Marine, and then he was a mercenary for a long time, and he carried knives here, and he showed us how to throw them from here, and it's like, oh, that's what it's for. Plus, you already have half of your wind by the time you grab it, if you're good enough and if you practice enough. Have a Knife Day says, I own a lot of SOG classic fixed blades. That's what I'm talking about. Even some older folders. Now, I don't bother. I'd love to get the Tiger Shark. I remember when that came out being like, I should get that, and I never did. Jerry C., great show, brother. Everyone have a safe and wonderful weekend. Jerry C., you too have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Doug Bull, Bob, I would be leery about carrying a neck knife. Good concept, but like having a prisoner in custody. Don't let him get away from you. Yeah, no doubt. And actually, I'm not convinced about the neck knife as a self-defense thing, because if you're struggling, and this is not a neck knife, but if you're struggling and you're not going to know where that knife is, it's not going to be easy to grab as if it were fixed to your belt. Stay bladed and have a knife weekend. Have a knife weekend. Have a knife day. It's been great talking with you all. As always, it's my favorite night of the week. Coming here later, all have a nice night. Have a knife night, says Northern Knives. You too, man. I love unloading it all. Coming here and just getting it all out, because I know no one else in this house wants to hear it. So thank you for joining me in my house. If you want to help support the show, you can do so on Patreon. You can go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon or scan the QR code on your screen. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, people, don't take dull for an answer.